Just before our love got lost, you said, I am as constant as a northern star. And I said, constantly in the darkness, where's that at? If you want me, I'll be in the bar. On the back of a cartoon coaster, in the blue TV screen light, I drew a map of Canada, oh Canada. With your face sketched on it twice, oh, you're in my blood like holy wine. You taste so bitter and so sweet, oh, I could drink a case of you. Darling, I would still be on my feet. Oh, I would still be on my feet. Ooh, I'm a lonely painter. I live in a box of paints. I'm frightened by the devil, and I'm drawn to those ones that ain't afraid. I remember the time you told me, you said, love is touching so surely you touched mine. 'Cause part of you pours out of mine in these lines from time to time. Ooh, you're in my blood like holy wine. You taste so bitter and so sweet. Oh, I could drink a case of you. Still I'd be on my feet. I would still be on my feet. I met a woman, she had a mouth like yours. She knew your life, she knew your devils and your deeds. And she said, go to him, stay with him if you can, but be prepared to bleed. Oh, but you're in my blood, you're my holy wine. You're so bitter, bitter and so sweet. Oh, I could drink a case of you. Ooh, darling, and I'd still be on my feet. Ooh.
Good morning. Welcome to the First Unitarian Church of Hamilton. My name is Pat Dickinson, and I will be your service leader this morning. Our sermon this morning will be presented by Reverend Jamie. Tim Versteeg will tell the story for all ages. Music will be by Lila Miklos, Rachel Derry, Cindy Carey, Joanne Deere, and Marianne Forbes. And the tech team this morning is John Elliott, Mary Eve, and Bruce McPherson. The city of Hamilton is situated upon the traditional territories of the Erie, Neutral, Huron-Wendat, Haudenosaunee, and Mississaugas. This land is covered by the Dish with One Spoon Wampum Belt Covenant, which was an agreement between the Haudenosaunee and the Anishinaabe to share and care for the resources around the Great Lakes. As settlers, we continue to benefit from the land and its resources. And as settlers, we must ask ourselves how or if we have shared and cared for the earth and its gifts. Facing the truth is hard, and truth must come before reconciliation. Our goal in this congregation is to extend our hearts in welcome to all who join us in worship, whoever you are, whomever you love, and wherever you are in your search for truth and meaning. We are connected through our desire to live out our ideals of peace, love, and justice for all. We are here to love one another and encourage each other in our spiritual growth. Our congregational mission includes our commitment to nurture one another, serve the community, and inspire action to heal the world.
Good morning. Welcome. I am Jamie Boyce, and I have the great privilege of serving this congregation as the interim minister. We gather today to rest in the warmth of this virtual beloved community, to explore the balance we keep while living in a world full of expectations against the possibility that our vulnerabilities and imperfections and even our mistakes are the place where we grow, learn, and connect to each other and the great mystery of life. Whoever you are welcome here. Let us open our hearts and minds as we gather to celebrate this beautiful day. Join me in saying in unison our chalice lighting words. May this flame be our light of friendship and love.
Number 1053, How Could Anyone? How could anyone ever tell you you were anything less than beautiful? How could anyone ever tell you you were less than whole? How could anyone fail to notice that your love is a miracle? How deeply you're connected to my soul. How could anyone ever tell you you were anything less than beautiful? How could anyone ever tell you you were less than whole? How could anyone fail to notice that your loving is a miracle? How deeply you're connected to my soul.
As we consider the gifts that imperfection can provide us with this morning, our story will reflect that, and we are reading Ish by Peter H. Reynolds. Ramon loved to draw. Anytime, anything, anywhere. One day, Ramon was drawing a vase of flowers. His brother Leon leaned over his shoulder, and Leon burst out laughing. "What is that?" he asked. Ramon could not even answer. He just crumpled up the drawing and threw it across the room. Leon's laughter haunted Ramon. He kept trying to make his drawings look right, but they never did. After many months and many crumpled sheets of paper, Ramon put his pencil down. "I'm done." Marisol, his sister, was watching him. "What do you want?" he snapped. "I was watching you draw," she said. Ramon sneered. I'm not drawing. Go away. Marisol ran away, but not before picking up a crumpled sheet of paper. Hey, come back here with that. Ramon raced after Marisol up the hall and into her room. He was about to yell, but fell silent when he saw his sister's walls. He stared at the crumpled gallery. This is one of my favorites, Marisol said, pointing. That was supposed to be a vase of flowers, Ramon said, but it doesn't look like one. Well, it looks vase-ish, she exclaimed. Vase-ish? Ramon looked closer. Then he studied all the drawings on Marisol's walls and began to see them in a whole new way. They do look ish. Ramon felt light and energized. Thinking ishly allowed his ideas to flow freely. He began to draw what he felt, loose lines, quickly springing out without worry. Ramon once again drew and drew the world around him. Making an ish drawing felt wonderful. He filled his journals. Tree-ish, house-ish, boat-ish, afternoon-ish, fish-ish, sun-ish. Ramon realized he could draw ish feelings too. Peace-ish, silly-ish, excited-ish. His ish art inspired ish writing. He wasn't sure if he was writing poems, but he knew they were poem-ish. Ponder, pond, ponder, dream yonder, pond, pond, yond, yond, gleam, wander. One spring morning, Ramon had a wonderful feeling. It was a feeling that even ish words and ish drawings could not capture. He decided not to capture it. Instead, he simply savored it. And Ramon lived ishfully ever after. And that is the endish.
Thanks, Tim. I love all the Peter Reynolds stories, but that's my all-time favorite. And I was delighted to see that the McChesney family were following along in their book at home, which was absolutely lovely. So, in these moments of contemplation, I invite you to relax. Close your eyes if you like and breathe deeply. Following our reading, there will be a few moments of silence, followed by our chant. This morning's meditation is entitled, Life is Always Unfinished Business by Richard S. Gilbert. In the midst of the whirling day, in the hectic rush to be doing, in the frantic pace of life, pause here for a moment. Catch your breath, relax your body, loosen your grip on life. Consider that our lives are always unfinished business. Imagine that the picture of our being is never complete. Allow your life to be a work in progress. Do not hurry to mold the masterpiece. Do not rush to finish the picture. Do not be impatient to complete the drawing. From beckoning birth to dawning death, we are in process, and always there is more to be done. Do not let the incompleteness weigh on your spirit. Do not despair that imperfection marks your every day. Do not fear that we are still in the making. Let us instead be grateful that the world is still to be created. Let us give thanks that we can be more than we are. Let us celebrate the power of the incomplete, for life is always unfinished business.
Come, come, whoever you are, wanderer, worshiper, lover of leaving. Ours is no caravan of despair. Come, yet again, come, come, whoever you are. Wanderer, worshiper, lover of leaving, ours is no caravan of despair. Come, yet again, come, whoever you are. Wanderer, worshiper, lover of leaving, ours is no caravan of despair. Come, yet again, come, yet again, come, yet again, come.
Oh, that was beautiful and majestic. Thank you to our music ministry this morning. Our guiding image for this service started with an image I had of a gymnast perched on a balance beam, tiptoeing through life, overwhelmed by expectations of perfection, or at least being close to perfect, and the desire to conform to expectations that invite streams of scoring, self-doubt, or cautious reluctance to just be. I imagine how we are all living in the balance of external expectations, our own neurosis perhaps, and the awareness that somehow we might not be lovable just the way we are, complete in our messy, messy humanity. This perfectionism invites us to perch anxiously on an edge of our own self-worth that disappears alternatives. It's easy to forget that the option to get grounded in comfortable shoes, to find a new path, is always available. This talk is just that, a short exploration into perfectionism and how it undermines us individually and collectively. One place I notice the stress of getting it right is in presenting in the COVID age is especially challenging with families. In preparation for this service, Pat Dickinson sent me some articles that detailed the many ways in which perfectionism impacts parenting. Families are under pressure to parent perfectly, to deliver the perfect experience so children grow up to be successful, independent, and responsible adults. There is little room for the inevitable messiness in this picture, much less a context for celebrating the chaos of parenting. Even attempts to center culture of good enough are a reminder that some idealized version of parenting and family life exists out there, a standard that is never, never possible to achieve. It's hard to maneuver the weight of these expectations, either as we heap them on ourselves or feel the pressure from the wider world to be the right kind of parent, to be the right kind of person. Lessons of the past 2 years have been challenging for parents and children. On one end, so many challenges with all the pivots and adaptations. and absolutely heartbreaking on the other. It's easy to see perfectionism leering just outside the front door with a gaze that challenges us and questions the value of our abilities to be good enough, to be good parents, to adapt in ways that will override all the things that are going wrong in the world. This runs over the gifts of innovation, adaptability, and experimentation, and it privileges rightness, doing it the right way, over being just as we are. It would be easy to isolate perfectionism as a crisis of the individual, one that Brene Brown names as a behavior that seeks to shield us from shame as we hide our insecurities away from the wider world. It seems important to also consider perfectionism as a social construct, an artifact that shapes our lives and institutions, and even perhaps our covenants of faith. Perfectionism as a cultural artifact tells us that there is a right way and a wrong way to be, do, or understand the world. It seeks to replicate a world that is resistant to change and innovation. As I continue to reflect on the ways in which perfectionism has shaped my own experience, I found myself returning to a story from my first years at a Unitarian Universalist congregation. I had gotten involved in adult religious education program, as many of us do, and I had met a great friend through that program. We took a class together, and over the course of the class, we had many wonderful conversations discussing philosophy, cultural studies, and religion. In this group, we were exploring a number of Unitarian Universalist writers and thinkers. At one point, I offered a reflection to the group, naming a prominent Unitarian Universalist theologist. When I said that, people smiled awkwardly and there was silence. I knew something was wrong, but I didn't know what exactly. Later, after the class, my friend took me aside and explained to me that the correct word that I should have used in that particular circumstance was theologian, and that my mistake was endearing and sweet. As the conversation swept over me, I felt shame and embarrassment rise in my body. My slip and misuse of language was an endearing artifact of my class status, my lower working class roots surfacing in uncomfortable ways, and I had slipped off the balance beam. As much as I try to plaster over my past with degrees and qualifications, there is always a give and a tell, and I had met a place where part of me was not welcomed or appreciated. In fact, I was being asked to change. My new friend taught me a lesson about the cultural expectations of Unitarian Universalism, taught me about the expectations of the community, of the learned assembled, and about the perfectionism built into this culture that acts as a mechanism for belonging, and thus as a mechanism that assesses value. It was an invitation. My friend was offering me an invitation to self-improvement in the name of what felt like classist notions of educated and learned. This did not feel like the spirit of universalism that brought me there. This did not feel like the love that knows no bounds. I had arrived at this Unitarian Universalist congregation seeking a love as a promise to affirm and welcome all people into the grace of the community. And it seemed in that moment that the beautiful optimism of universalism, again, the belief that love knows no bounds, seems that that can get snagged on our worldly expectations for perfection and our idealized hopes that our communities act and be a particular way. When we're able to move away from the demands of perfectionism, get curious about ourselves and each other, we might discover greater awareness and deeper relationships. We might become more inclusive, welcoming, and ultimately more loving. Perhaps we might learn from the Japanese art of kintsugi, which is the practice of repairing broken pottery with care and love, emphasizing the cracks and breaks with gold in a way that brings new beauty into being. Things that are worn, broken, or in need of repair deserve our tender love and attention. Our covenantal faith has this potential to renew and celebrate our humanity with humility and offer love and recognize that, yes, we are all broken vessels, streaked in gold and beautiful and wonderful. And with good use, more cracks and more edges will appear, and we will be called to tenderly apply the golden balm of curiosity, love, and care with each other. This, I think, is a beginning of healing and a beginning of a new future. By moving towards a deeper collective response that centers our values and commitments, I wonder if we can make room for the beauty of our imperfections and welcome new ways of being and doing. I wonder how our covenants will change. I wonder how we will recommit to each other. I wonder about the tenderness that will change and transform us. While we can hop off the balance beam and discover a new journey, a new world to dwell in that honors our humanity, our humility, our earthiness, I wonder what awaits us there. In the spirit of things unfinished, I offer this snapshot from a poem by Thich Nhat Hanh as a reflection for how we might notice each other's messiness with love and welcome joy into the beloved community. This is a leap off the balance beam, a call to walk in comfortable shoes, in freedom and acceptance, and realize we share a common vulnerability of being loved just as we are today. Here are the words from Thich Nhat Hanh. You are my garden. A tree is dying in my garden. You see it, but you also see other trees that are vigorous and joyful, and I am thankful. I know a tree is dying in my garden, but I do not see it as the whole of my garden, and I need you to remind me of that. I invite you to rest and rejoice in our next hymn, For All That Is Our Life, and may gratitude soar in your heart.
Number 128, For All That Is Our Life. For all that is our life, we sing our thanks and praise. For all life is a gift which we are called to use to build the common good and make our own days glad. For
beloveds, let us go forth, caring deeply for each other and our wild imperfections. Let us tend the messy gardens of building the beloved community, knowing that wonderful gifts are growing and blossoming among us. May grace and ease flow through us and among us. Until we meet again, we extinguish this chalice, but not the love and fire in our hearts. Until we meet again.
Heaven knows I was just a young boy, didn't know what I wanted to be. I was every little hungry schoolgirl's pride and joy, and I guess it was enough for me to win the race, a prettier face, brand new clothes, and a big fat place on your rock and roll TV. But today the way I play the game is not the same, no way. I think I'm gonna get me some happy. I think there's something you should know. I think it's time I told you so. There's something deep inside of me. There's someone else I got to be. Take back your picture in a frame. Take back your singing in the rain. I just hope you understand. Sometimes the clothes do not make the man. All we have to do now is take these lies and make them true somehow. All we have to see is that I don't belong to you and you don't belong to me. Yeah, yeah, freedom, 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 freedom. Heaven knows we sure had some fun, boy. What a kick, just a buddy and me. We had every big shot, good time band on the run, boy. We were living in a fantasy. We won the race, got out of the place, went back home, got a brand new face for the boys on MTV. But today the way I play the game has got to change, oh yeah. Now I'm gonna get me some happy. I think there's something you should know. I think it's time I stop the show. There's something deep inside of me. There's someone I forgot to be. Take back your picture in the frame. Don't think that I'll be back again. I just hope you understand. Sometimes the clothes do not make the man. All we have to do now is take these lies and make them true somehow. All we have to see is that I don't belong to you and you don't belong to me. Yeah, yeah, freedom, 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 freedom. I think there's something you should know. I think it's time I told you so. There's something deep inside of me. There's someone else I got to be. Take back your picture in the frame. Take back your singing in the rain. I just hope you understand. Sometimes the clothes do not make the man. All we have to do now is take these lies and make them true somehow. All we have to see is that I don't belong to you and you don't belong to me. Yeah, yeah, freedom.